feel like we live in 1970. How's it, everybody? We're gonna wait a while, see who shows up to this impromptu live stream. I guess all the live streams are sort of impromptu. We're gonna move this chat over here, it's a little easier to see. Let's pin that there. Yep. Hello, Nick, Noah, and Lucas. How are you, gentlemen? I presume. Hopefully this evening, afternoon is going well for you. I hate talking with these headphones on too. It like weirds me out. I like can't hear myself talk, and then I'm like, am I talking loud enough? Am I talking too loud? What's going on? Hello from Orlando. I might have said that really loud. That's all right. Orlando. I was thinking about Orlando earlier. I was thinking about, you know, this National X-Ball League. The NXL World Cup's coming up here in like a couple months here, and I was like, man, I kind of want to go, and I was like, I don't know why I would necessarily go. I don't necessarily have anything I have to be doing there, so me going to World Cup would kind of be, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. Anyway, Charleston, South Carolina is where Noah's at. How are you, Noah? Charleston. I've been there. Last time I was, well, South Carolina. Last time I was in the Carolinas was North Carolina at a PSP event. PBRML so long ago. I mean, that was like 13 years ago or something like that. My gosh, making me feel old. Santa Cruz County Fair. Is the Santa Cruz County Fair? Are they county fair? Are they doing county fairs right now? That seems kind of crazy to me. I mean, that'd be great. I mean, I'd love to go to the fair. The Santa Cruz County Fair is happening this weekend in Santa Cruz. Cool. You know, I was wondering that. I was thinking about the California State Fair. Normally happens like all the time, like 2 miles that way. Maybe even less. Probably about 2 miles. The air conditioner turned on. We're gonna see how loud the air conditioner is. Hold on. Turn the air conditioner off. Yeah, I was like, the California State Fair, normally it's right down the street, and I was curious if it's going on. I was like, I haven't been in so long. It's kind of a fun thing to do. I forgot when I was watching someone eat fried food or something, and it made me think about fairs. That was kind of weird. Do you Saline Carp, I think that was, I don't know where that comment went. I lost that comment. You asked if I went to NXL events. Not really. I haven't gone to. I went to the last NXL I went to, I think, was 2018. Maybe it was 2019. I don't know. Whichever one the last NXL Las Vegas was. I went to that event, but then haven't gone to any since. I think. Maybe I went. I don't know. My times are all super confusing, so it's complicated. So I don't know. I have some stuff around here. I thought I could, you know, do a live stream and at least like kind of talk about, I don't know, this paintball gun I've got here. So let's talk about MacDev. So this right here is the MacDev XDR. The XDR is MacDev's new, I was going to say entry-level paintball gun. It's definitely not entry-level. It's $850. So it sits like slap in the middle of that mid-range. There's quite a few guns in that mid-range market now. I mean, we have, you know, the 170R from Planet Eclipse. Dye just released their DSR. That's $1,000. That DSR Plus. So there's a lot of good paintball guns that fit in that $1,000 price. And if we switch over to our top view, that wasn't really working earlier, so it's requiring me to hit extra buttons. Can I like a zoom out on that. Nope, that's all the way out. So that's the case that the XDR comes in. I've had this for quite a while, so they don't come all like, you know, beat up like that, but quite a while, I mean by like a couple months, maybe like a month and a half, and it's just been kind of sitting around. So it's not like, you know, the most durable case ever. I think that these Lux cases are going to be very similar, you know, in like style. They're both that like, I don't know, kind of like softer carbon fiber stuff or whatever. But I don't know, where was I going with that? The Lux ones seem a little bit more durable. That's the whole reason I like brought that thing up here. XDR. So let's open XDR and just, I don't know, see what's inside this thing. It's a pretty big case. I mean, you can see it's big, but it's really narrow, which I kind of like. I mean, it's not like, you know, fat. So it kind of, I think, slides into gear bags a little bit nicer. So obviously, we're going to get manual. It's typical manual. I mean, it's kind of what you'd, you know, sort of expect. I'm going to turn this light on. I put this light over here, and it made this, like, area a little better. Barrel cover. Barrel cover. Charging cable. My jaw itches. And spare parts kit and some Allen wrenches. So there are, whoa, Allen wrenches are flying out of there. Just some spare O-rings. There's some spare ball detents in there. Some spare screws. And grease. XDR. There she is. So like I said, this is going to fit into MacDev's kind of like, I don't know, $1,000-ish price. So these are $850. They do make a mechanical frame, which I'll grab here in just a second. I've got that hidden over there. They do make a mechanical frame. It's going to sell for an additional $250 to make this thing $1,000. And I always forget these are reverse thread. They're going to be $1,000 with that mechanical frame. XDR. And one thing I don't really know, I like sit here and I'm like, man, I just don't know a ton about the MacDev guns, right? Like, I just don't have a ton of experience with these things. I mean, we have like so much more experience with the Die guns, the Luxes, the Planet Eclipse guns, the Empire stuff, just those bigger manufacturers. So these things, I look at this and I'm like, man, MacDev has their high-end gun, the Prime XTS, and I don't know. I couldn't even really honestly tell you what the difference between the Prime and this gun is, right? There's a $500 difference, and more than a $500 difference. It's almost a $700 difference, and I honestly don't know, right? Like, I mean, it seems to have all of those high-end features that the Prime has, right? I mean, it's got that really good OLED screen, those screens I really like. You know, it's got the same bolt system almost as the XTS. It's got that infinity drive system, which they've changed a little bit in the XDR. They've kind of changed up that valve part. There's a big stem kind of poking off this section on the XTS. So they pared it down, made it a little bit more simple. But honestly, like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know what the difference is between this XDR and their Prime, their higher end guns, right? There's just such a minuscule difference that it's hard to say. And here is that mechanical frame. So mechanical frame is kind of neat. So you really do just kind of take off the electronic frame and just screw on that mechanical frame. It's pretty easy to install, but it's $250 separately, whereas with other guns, you know, like the CS2 or whatever, you can get those for $200. But they, I guess, don't include that ASA and regulator, so they are a little bit more money if you want to add on that POPs ASA. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, the trigger's not adjustable, so it's kind of just as it is, which I guess is not the greatest thing. Yeah. The MacDev XDR. Hopefully we'll have a review on this thing pretty soon. I actually went out to the field a couple weeks ago and played with the thing, so it's been played with. One of the things that I've always really liked about, we'll put that back here. Hold on. I'm gonna grab, let's just grab this. I'm gonna grab my tank. Okay, it's back. One of the things that I've always really liked about, I think this tank's empty. One of the things I've always liked about the MacDev guns, and something that I talk about all the time, is just that area on that frame, right? Like, I really like how they put the triggers so far out, and this area of the gun is really big. I find that, like, when I'm just holding it, right? I'm gonna turn it off, it's still on. When I hold it, they just fit in my hands really well. So I really like the ergonomics on these things. I really like the trigger and the trigger frame. I've always liked them. I mean, really, since they've been making paintball guns, they've kind of had that similar trigger frame feel. I don't know, I really like them. So I like the ergonomics on these things. My problem with MacDev has always been just that, you know, they're a smaller company. So unless you're kind of willing to take a little bit of a risk, you know, on purchasing an expensive thing like this, $1,000, purchasing something like that from a smaller company sometimes can be risky, you know, like how good the support's going to be and if they're going to have parts when they need it, and, you know, long term, how that looks from these smaller companies is scary sometimes. Whereas, you know, when you buy a 170R from Planet Eclipse, or, you know, you buy a DSR, or, you know, a Shocker amp, those are just bigger companies, so they're able to support the thing easier, right? You look out 10 years in the future and, you know, they're probably hopefully going to still have parts for those things. Whereas MacDev, historically, they kind of have a problem with parts and warranties and manufacturing, not manufacturing, but just like, I don't know, supporting their products far into the future, we'll say. So I don't know. I think that, yeah, these are like a good gun to, like, I don't know, I feel like kind of taking a chance on it, right? You're like, well, it might work really well, it might not. But you definitely know that, you know, the DSR is going to work well, and the 170R is going to work well, and the amp's going to work well. We know those things are good. When these things are kind of still like, I don't know, just kind of hoping that they work well. That's the XDR. Who has questions about the XDR? Leave me questions in the chat. I know people have been talking and I kind of ignore them. I kind of ignore the chat when I'm talking, or I get like sidetracked. So MacDev do have a California team. So MacDev kind of have like a, I don't know what they're going to call themselves, like a MacDev dealer US warranty center. At 31st Outfitters. I believe 31st is in Santa Clara, California. So they're in like the North Bay. And they also have a bunch of guys that play for Gray Area. I think they just call themselves Gray Area. I don't think it's like, maybe it's like Bay Area, no, Bay Area Gray Area. That'd be weird. I have a fan over here. I just started making noise, like whatever. Magic Spear Paintball. What does its bolt style look like? Just for my own personal comparisons. Santa Rosa is where 31st is. Reclue. I appreciate those $5 super chats. Man, super chats are friggin' awesome. Houston. Houston? You guys got like another, not another hurricane. Oh my God. Hurricanes. You just sold your X for a CSR. Yeah, I think I'd probably rather have a CSR. I don't know. I just don't like the way the Luxes feel, you know? I appreciate that super chat. What does the bolt look like? Let's switch back over to this shot. I don't know why this camera, it's not working out for me. What does XDR bolt look like? That is what the XDR, like literally, that's the whole thing. That's all of it. That is all of it. I don't even know if you can take anything else apart. I really don't know. I think that is everything. Yep. They are going with the, they have a little bit of a, I don't have the autofocus on. They've got a little bit of a soft tip right there that's going to be, you know, typical what we're going to see. It's very basic. One of the things that I've kind of always liked about these guns is I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the way they shoot. They have a very, very quick and snappy shot. I mean, I say that I always like the shot that's on like, I don't know, the Planet Eclipse guns, or you know, the old Bob Long guns, or you know, even the Force have a very like quick and like snappy quick shot. And these definitely have that, but they're even like quicker almost. It's almost like they're not even like almost not even spool valve. It sort of feels like they're almost pop valve guns, or you know, a poppet valve gun, like they're like a spider or something like that. They're very quick, which I like. I don't like that super lazy shot. And shooting this, like I just literally just remembered. I have a friend who's used MacDev guns for a very long time. He loves the things for some reason. He's had the Prime, he had all the drones, a bunch of stuff. And this, he said, shoots extremely similar to his Prime. So if anyone's used a Prime or familiar with any of the other MacDev guns, I think they all shoot very similar. So even this shoots similar. Goddamn fan's driving me crazy. I don't even know if you guys can hear it. Yeah. Need a tool for parts removal or no tool? Some of the things, right? So you can definitely take out the bolt. But that's all. That's about all. You can take the feed neck. You know, you can take the hopper off because it has a lever feed neck. But it is not going to have like toolless eye covers or whatever. It does have still those, I don't know, screws on the eyes or whatever. You can't take the frame off without tools, but that's really, there's only one gun that's really kind of doing that. That's the Lux. That's a high-end gun, so you wouldn't expect that toolless frame removal or a lot of those high-end features on like a gun in this $800 price. You know, those other ones are like $1,500. They have a lot of the cool things. Porter, Paintball Ruined My Life live stream. No questions, just happy to be here. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Geo4 or 3.5 and LV1 are my go-to markers and the best. Yeah, yeah, sure. For sure. Dwight Benz, how's it going? I assume that's Dwight. These do not have, these have a rechargeable battery in the foregrip. Not in the foregrip, I should say in the trigger frame. I gotta get this dang stupid charger thing off though. They charge right there. I don't even know if you can see me. There's a hole. Kind of like this auto face detection. See that USB-C plump right in the back? There it is. Right there. USB-C. Which is cool. I mean, I prefer these things that have like rechargeable batteries. I just kind of like it a little bit more. I haven't really used batteries. I haven't really bought batteries in a long time because I'm using rechargeable AA's in the Geo. And then in my Spire, I've got the you know, in-charge battery. I'm blanking on the name of the thing. OLED board. There's definitely an OLED board. There's an OLED screen right there. It's actually really good. So it's going to have, I guess if you hold it down for like 5 minutes, it turns off. So this is, it's really good. It's like the same brightness and whatever as the Shocker, I'd say. Something like that. Yeah. It feels good. I mean, these guns have always felt like, I've always liked the ergonomics on the things. I like that funk music on. I don't pay taxes when I buy from LWP. I don't know what that means. What would be better, a brand new Dice CZR or an old PM or DM marker? Woo! You know, I would probably, dude, it really matters, right? Like, the problem with that stuff is like, you know, most people are probably going to be like the DM, right? Like, because yes, if you can find like, you know, any of the DMs, I think, if you can find like a DM8 or a DM7 or, you know, a PM7 or a PM8, and those are in good working condition, right? Those guns are going to be better. I think that they're just, you know, all aluminum and they're nicer. The LPR, I think, makes them nicer. The bolt, I think, is better. I mean, they're just going to shoot better, really. So if you can find like an old one of those that's in good shape, I would probably say do that. I would say that's probably a better gun. But at the same time, those are really old, you know. A PM7, you know, it's like 15 years old or something like that now. So they're getting very, very old. So parts are going to get rarer. Stuff's going to be more worn. So, you know, you're buying a gun that's 15 years old. It could have 400,000 shots on it or something like that. And buying a gun that's going to have, you know, 400,000 shots or something might not be a good idea all the time. So I think that those guns are better, but you got to know what you're buying. You know, you got to know what you're looking for, because sometimes there's deals out there, and sometimes you're buying stuff that needs everything, right? Like this is a good example. This gun, right? You know, there's a lot of random shit laying around here. So when I owned the paintball store, we had this thing there somehow. I don't even remember how we get these things, right? Like, I don't know how we got this. I don't remember. And I couldn't tell you which DM this is. This is like a DM9, could be a 10. I don't know. I was confused, right? This is a great gun, but it needs literally everything. It needs a solenoid, it needs a board, it needs part of the bolt, and all of those parts together cost more than this thing's worth. It costs more than the die CZR. So, you know, this thing's a piece of shit. So honestly, it just matters kind of what you can buy or whatever. Yeah. So it really matters. How are MacDevs compared to others? You know, not good, right? I don't like the MacDev guns. You know what a good example of why I don't like MacDev guns is? Let's just see. Let's just double check. Okay, we're still good. This is an example of why I don't like MacDev. It wants me to go into dark mode. MacDevPaintball.com. This is just one of the many little things. What is this, right? Like, this is a broken website. The website's been broken for quite a while, right? And like, if I was a consumer, right, like I'm gonna go buy a paintball gun and I'm like, man, there's these 2 new paintball guns out, and you know, one came out from Dye and then one came out from MacDev, so you know, I'm gonna go to these websites and compare them, and I'm like, what is this shit? You know, I'm like, well, at least Dye's website works. I mean, their website might be like, you know, overladen with like animations and like cool things going on, but at least it works. You know, I would go to this website and be like, what is this? I wouldn't buy anything from this company. Right? I mean, you'd be crazy. And then you're like, well, let's go look at the XDR, and you go to the XDR, and you're like, huh, okay, it's taking a while. We'd go back to Dye's website and, I don't know, just, you know, start clicking stuff and it just works. Meanwhile, I don't know. Did it work? It worked. So you go over here and you're like, cool, check these XDRs out. And over on the Dye website, you got all this information, right? They got like animations and like a cool video about their gun, and like you go into the thing and you're like checking it out and you're like, wow, all this information and all these features. And then this is all the information you get on MacDev's website. You get a rubber foregrip, lasered eye system, or lensed eye system, a mechanical frame, which is, you know, separate, a bolt, a battery, and a screen. So like, I don't know, right? I feel like if I was a manufacturer, right? Like if I was the guy who was like, you know, in charge of this stuff, and I was like, man, we got this like pretty high-end product coming out, right? It's $1,000, right? It's $1,000. So I could buy this, or I can buy like an iPhone Pro. You know, so we're competing against this, or you could buy an iPhone Pro. Those are my options, right? Those are the two things I could buy for $1,000. So I'd feel like if I was, you know, in charge of all this, I would do the best I could to try to sell the things, right? That means making a website that works, and like just having manuals available, and like, I don't know, stuff like that, right? Like, this is also weird to me. This didn't ship with grip screws, so like, it's cool that, like, you know, I can take this off, but now I have to like put this on really quick and then take the grip screws off the other gun. It's just a dumb thing, and it's annoying. So yep, so it's very odd. It's very odd to me. I think that this is just one of the many reasons that I'm like, I don't know, MacDev, like, I don't know. So I was like, I don't trust MacDev so much, and their wonky weirdness consistently, they've been wonky and weird for 20 years. So I don't know. I don't understand. The Virtue person says, MacDev's customer service drove me away from owning anything they make. Won't go near them ever again. Yeah, I mean, that's why, I mean, that's also one of the reasons that you don't see a lot of the paintball stores carrying them, is because they're harder to, not harder to service, but they're just harder to get parts for. It's like, you know, you need baldy tents or whatever, and they're like, well, they haven't had those in stock for a year, so it's like, I don't know how we're gonna do that. I don't know. Yeah. And I really even struggle with like doing videos on these things. Like, I wasn't gonna like, so when someone said that the grip screws are supposed to be in all the frames, that was an error. I found this not, I don't know, whatever, something. But you know what I have a problem with? We'll go even further into that, right? So these grip screws, right? Let's do this, right? This is gonna get, I was just gonna like do like a quick like overview synopsis of this thing, but we're gonna go into it. So here's the mechanical frame. Let's I don't know how to show this. Let's see here. So the one thing that I find very weird about these, and it even kind of weirds me out installing them, we're gonna take out the solenoid here. So I was gonna kind of like wait to kind of like figure out when I should talk about this, but it's okay. Okay, so we have to take off the grip frame, right? We need grip screws, right? So I'm like, okay, we'll take off this one, right? And we're gonna flip, oh, god damn it. Knocking stuff around. Okay, there we have a grip screw. And the thing that's very odd about this is solenoid goes in, golly, I'm all shifted around, hold on. Solenoid, oh my gosh, what is happening? Okay, focus, okay, solenoid, yeah, goes in like that, right? Okay, sorry. Okay, so solenoid goes in, right? And the problem is that this grip screw is supposed to go right in the side. So like, but that's as far as you can put it in. So you can only thread it in like literally one thread like that because it hits the side of the solenoid. So if you screw it in any further like that, literally, see, it's holding the solenoid in? But if I unscrew it a little bit, you know, it does that. But what's crazy is that if we do that, we'll actually put this on. Okay, it's hitting the solenoid now. And it's like you can't even screw the grips down. It's very, very scary. See, I've actually, because I've not screwed the solenoid down, the grip, screwing this screw in actually shifted the solenoid. You can see it a little bit. So when you screw these grip screws in, they just screw directly into the solenoid. Like, I don't know. That just seems like a bad idea to me. And I mean, that's something like old school paintball guns had a problem with, right? I mean, we had a problem with that, you know, in the 90s and like 2006 or something like that, but it's very weird to like have to worry about that in, you know, 2021 or whatever year that is. Whatever year it is. So it's like the solenoid just like the line like is so close to the wall on the frame that the screw just goes straight into it. I mean, you can even like see it right there. There's just like no threads. Like the grip screws hold on to like one thread. So this is going to get stripped super fast. And it's not like just that side. I mean, you get the same exact problem on the other side. The frames, the walls are so thin on the frame, and they're so close to like the solenoid. It's just like, I don't know. It's very odd. So I don't like it. I find that odd. I don't even know if that made sense to anybody, because it was like, it's kind of all over the place. So I don't know. I don't like that. I'm not a fan really of whatever. I don't know. Just like stuff being weird like that. And especially when like we have the option to, you know, buy other guns, right? Like it's not like this thing's like some crazy super deal. It's like expensive, right? I mean, $1,000 for this thing, where I could go buy like, you know, an M170R, or I could buy a 170R in a mechanical frame for cheaper. Or I could go buy, you know, a 170R and like an E-Mech or something like that. I'm like hunting for the whatever. I'm hunting for the dealio. So I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. But then I'm sure that we'll get like in the chat here, and when I do a review, if I do a review on this, I'm sure we'll get people that say like, there's going to be a bunch of excuses why it's like this. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. Dr. Frutrix, I think you said something about grip screws. You're the one who got me going on this. What'd you say? This valve was a product of COVID delay issues. There is a faster valve in development already, so the valve was a stopgap that isn't perfect. That's a stupid thing to do though. Like, the valve's perfectly fine. They just like, I don't know. It's not that the speed is the problem. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I feel like people design these guns one time and they're like, it's done, and then no one ever like thinks about it again. No one ever puts it together. No one ever is like, hey, shouldn't we like do this? It's like, I don't know. It's like no one ever, like, I don't know. I feel that like after like 15 minutes, I'm like, well, this is wrong, you could have done this different, and this could have been different, and I don't know. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I get like if you're like, oh, it's like, you know, we're trying to, I don't know. The problem is that like, I understand that they couldn't get this stuff, and I get that it's hard and all that stuff, but it's like, MacDev doesn't make anything, right? They make like one thing. So it's like, I don't know, you're gonna release that one product, and then everyone's gonna remember that it was bad, and no one's gonna want the next one, and it's just, I don't know. It's not like they've got like 500 products and they're releasing one weird thing, so. Yep. Dye will be releasing a mechanical gun. Let's talk about that thing. That thing's more up. That's like, the thing's more upbeat. Maybe not upbeat. Upbeat might not be the right word. That right there. This is Dye's new paintball gun. I want to listen to this cool music. This is the XDR Plus, or the DSR, I'm sorry, the Dye DSR Plus. I really liked the original DSR. I was a fan of the DSR. It shot really well. The ergonomics were really good. I'm curious about this one. I almost kept the last one. It shot so well, and I was like, man, this thing works really well. But at the time, I think I was already using the Geo 3.5, and I was like, I don't really need this. But I really liked the DSR. The original DSR had some problems. My main issue was probably with the battery door. I mean, the battery door on the original DSR was a little weird. But did they just talk about the battery door, or did they not talk about it? And there's no point. New grip clearance. What was that? Increased to accommodate virtually every player's grip style. I don't know. It looks like they increased that area a little bit right there. How it kind of like swoops in a little bit or something. Yeah, because before you would like use a coin to take the batteries out, it was kind of weird. It was like toolless, and I was like, well, we can't use a tool. It's very weird. So now it looks like there's just a little turned thing on the bottom that will not need tools. It worked fine. It just got a little it got marred up because you're using like a piece of metal on plastic, so it got a little weird. Hopefully we'll have one of these things very soon. Like hopefully tomorrow, maybe? I mean, if all goes as planned, I will shoot a video of this thing at the paintball field on Sunday. But I know that the one I was getting, I believe, got stuck. It's like stuck in Fairfield or something. It's at some like FedEx hub or something. These are $999.95. So they're $1,000 or they're $1,100 for ones like that. Ones with like cool colors, like cool patterns and stuff. They're gonna call their PGA. I believe Dye still calls them that. We'll see. I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of like, I don't know, it just looks cool to me. It really reminds me of like old paintball guns. Like it really reminds me of like old shockers or something like that. So I like it a lot. I think it looks really cool. The trigger's a little weird. You know, I always talk about triggers too, and it's like, you know, one of the reasons like, you know, I like these MacDev guns so much is because of the triggers, right? I like the trigger. I like how, you know, the trigger goes out on the bottom, right? I think that when your hand is like this, when you're holding the paintball gun, having like a perfectly flat trigger might work better with your hand like this. But when you hold it like this, it actually moves your fingers like this, right? So your finger on the bottom goes out further than the top one, right? So having the trigger shaped like that, you know, at that angle, when your hand's like that, you can kind of grab it better, right? You can kind of shoot better. So I don't know, I think having like that, whatever trigger they're calling it, are we gonna get to the trigger part? Or they talk about that like way, there you go. Yeah, so having that trigger that's like that, it's kind of hard to see, that black trigger, you know? A trigger that's kind of like higher on top, I think it's gonna make it like weird to shoot. So while I think the trigger looks really, really cool, and I think it kind of like matches like the lines of the gun and stuff like that, I don't really think it's gonna work very well. So the trigger might suck. What color did I order? I have an all black one. All black, yep. Just kind of like whatever is available. I definitely don't like the airports. I've never liked these on-offs from Dye. I was never that big a fan of them. The handle is so ergonomic. The flat trigger just doesn't fit me. I know some people actually have these. Dye actually got these guns to a lot of the like stores and stuff a few days ago. So there's actually some of you guys out there that actually own these things. Yeah, the trigger does make no sense. I don't quite understand it. It said it was like someone was saying like, oh, like a competition shooter engineered it or designed it. I'm like, okay, well, this is paintball. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like they don't really have much to do with each other. I mean, they're both shooting, obviously, but I mean, we hold the thing so much, so differently, and they're so different. Someone was talking about a mechanical frame. There is a mechanical frame. Supposedly the mechanical frame should be released by Christmas. Those are the words that I was told. So, we'll see. When Dye says stuff will be released, we typically have to add on about 4 times that. Dye seldomly has stuff in stock. Oh, look at Matt. Matt said he has the DSR Plus and he put a JC. What is JC? Scythe trigger on it, and it immediately made a huge difference. I can't imagine that trigger being like, I don't know, you know, that cool. I really like that transition. It's kind of fun. Why haven't more manufacturers adapted dynamic U-cup seals instead of O-rings like Field 1? I really want someone to explain that. Mainly because they're pain in the ass. I mean, personally, I prefer regular O-rings. So, yeah, you can find that out. Right, like, let's go, like, if we do, why is my keyboard not working? That was weird. So if we go to Field 1 Force, so you should go find the Field 1 Force review, I think. I can't remember if I talked about this in that review or not. Yeah. So in the Force review, about 4 minutes in, I talk about that.
I kind of just want one area for batteries.
I'm like scrubbing through the audio. I'm sure probably weird about. I don't know. I'll just talk about it now, I guess. So one thing that's cool about O-rings, right, is that let's say this isn't the O-ring. This is a good example. Because O-rings are round, right? So you got the edge of the O-ring. Like you got like the O-ring, right? And the O-ring sits on that flat surface. So when the O-ring pushes against the wall of like the paintball gun, right? It smashes against it. So it pushes against there, and that's what's creating that seal. You know, it's just rubber, so it's like smashed against the aluminum and creating the seal. And as that O-ring, you know, wears, as the O-ring moves over, it just gets pressed further and further and closer, I guess, to the aluminum to keep the seal, right? And the U-cup O-rings do that kind of in the same way. So the U-cup O-ring is kind of shaped like that, and then you have the paintball gun right there. So the O-ring has less friction, there's less surface area just because it's just that little tip of the top that's touching. And every time it shoots, it kind of like just gets out of the way, right? There's 2 good things about that, right? There's less surface area, so there is less friction on those U-cup O-rings. And because you kind of have this big long section of O-ring, right? You can kind of wear off more of it, and they technically can last longer because there's more material to wear and there's less surface area, so there'd be more performance, and technically they're going to last longer, but they're way easier to damage because they're like a little flap, right? And because they're really thin on that like stem part that's making contact with the aluminum, you can damage them really easy. So putting them in, you can damage them. Just servicing stuff, you can damage them easier. And sometimes, depending on the gun, they can require more grease too. Yeah. So mainly, I don't like them because they're easier to damage. I think that for most people, reliability is still more important, right? So I'm going to choose reliability and a simpler seal just because of reliability. I don't think that they're making a massive difference, right? Like it might be like a 5% or a 3% improvement in performance. It's not going to be like triple the air efficiency. You know, it's not going to be anything crazy. So I don't like to sacrifice the performance for reliability. I think that explanation worked. I have no idea. But I also probably explained that a little bit better in that force video.
And it's also coming with their new nucleus bolt. So the bolts in these is very reminiscent of previous Bob Langdon. They were known for using their U-cup seals. U-cup seals are going to be a little bit different than O-rings. They're using the U-cups because they last a little bit longer and they should have a little bit of an increase in performance. So every time you shoot a paintball gun, there's an O-ring moving back and forth inside that thing. That O-ring's making contact with another surface on the gun, creating some friction and then wearing out the O-ring a little bit. The O-ring can
Dang,
keep
this is
working,
like
though, because it's
right
elastic,
before
it's
COVID.
able to
February 27th, 2020. I also think I sound sick.
fill in that worn out space that was left. Those U-cup seals do the same thing, but because of their unique shape are able to take way more wear than the traditional O-rings are. So they're just able to like fill in that space more because of that crazy shape that they have. And because of the shape of those U-cup seals, it's actually making less contact with the other surface. So it's wearing a little bit less and causing less friction. So technically, those O-rings should last longer and create a little bit more performance. I think that sounded right. Hopefully this illustration kind of like helped.
I don't know. I think that I've explained that even better in places. Because I swear, I remember like drawing it somewhere. I don't know. We'll see what happens when we do that. I'm only interested in my videos. Well, what's that one? This one might be good. Nope. I don't know. Who knows? U-cups. Yeah, someone said something about like you were going to buy a Force, and thank you. I'm really glad you just told me that. I almost bought a Force last week. I wouldn't say that. That's not bad. Like I really like the Force, and I wouldn't say that like the U-cup O-rings are bad, right? It's not like don't buy a Force because of the O-rings. I just think that like for average person, right? You know, if you're not crazy and you're not like using a hammer to fix your paintball gun, you're probably not going to damage the O-rings. So it's not like U-cups are bad or anything. I wouldn't say it's like, I don't know. Yeah, that's true too. CBR Star also said, I heard that U-cups and X-cup O-rings can roll. So certainly, for sure. I mean, an O-ring, an O-ring's round. It's just like the same thing everywhere. So even if it does twist, it's still gonna like be a circle still, right? But the U-cups, because they are shaped like this, like literally shaped like that, you really can kind of like flip them back. So like if you, for some reason, put a bolt in the gun that has no grease and you're making a bunch of friction, you easily can like wrap them back on each other. And that's when you just have to jam an O-ring in there and pry it out. But I wouldn't say that that's a big problem. I mean, most of the issues with U-cups just come from installation, right? It comes from people just being too aggressive with stuff or just jamming picks with things, and it's from doing crazy stuff. So yeah. What Old Soul, sir? How are you? Wasn't Dynasty at some crazy shot count without changing their U-cup? Yeah, I think like I don't know. I don't remember what the number was, but I seem to remember Yosh saying they never changed the O-rings on some of the guns that they were using all year long. So I think that they might have went a whole year without changing O-rings, or like half of the year, because I'm pretty sure 200,000 shots without changing O-rings? I mean, I don't know if that's that crazy. I mean, it's probably pretty crazy for pro guys. I mean, most of the pro guys are probably getting O-rings changed more so than not when they're getting their guns teched at the tournaments. But I do vaguely remember that. I think that Yost just said they didn't change O-rings for a very long time. 200,000 isn't crazy shot-wise. That's a crazy... To not change any O-rings for 200,000 shots is kind of crazy. I mean, you like even the bolt O-ring, you know, like there's going to be some sort of wear on some parts. It's going to happen. There's a question that feels like a couple years old. Wizard PR. Do you think the redline board upgrade on the Axe 2.0 is worth it? Don't know if I should stick with the marker or upgrade it or save up for a marker upgrade. Hold on here. I haven't like talked this long in succession for a while, and like starts to get weird. I don't think the redline board's worth it. I mean, it matters how much it is, right? I honestly have no idea how much the red lines are still going for. I haven't sold into those things or looked at those in so long. Axe 2.0 redline boards. How much are they? $100? $100? I don't know. I still wouldn't do it. I mean, because you're not really gonna get anything. It's like, honestly, even on all these guns, you know, even like, you know, that MacDev gun we were talking about earlier, or you know, my Geo. 98% of the time, I use the screen just to tell the battery life. That's really all. So for me, because I'm not changing settings ever, I'm not changing the modes ever, I kind of just turn my gun on and use it, I don't find the OLED screen that useful. So for me, I wouldn't even think about it because I just don't use it that much. When I had the Axe, I had the original Axe, I maybe used the Axe for 2-something years and never had a problem with not having an OLED. So I don't think it's worth it. I'd just keep using it, man. The Axe is awesome. You don't really need a screen. You don't really probably need to upgrade either. Porter with a $5 super chat, sir. I appreciate it, guys. Do you plan on doing another live stream from the paintball field? Would love to see you dunk on some fools with that sweet Geo. I don't know. And you know what's weird is like, I was like, the Geo, I was like, man, I did that like setup video, and I was like, man, I don't really ever use this because I'm always like using something else, right? Like last time I played, you know, I used this. I had to use that thing. So it's weird. I'm not like often even playing with my own setup. I have no idea. I mean, I'm going to go to the paintball field on Sunday, but I'm going to be working. I'm going to try to film some videos. I don't know. I have no idea. I appreciate it, though. Ultimate Rental. Appreciate it, sir. From all the way from Canada. I don't know what's going on in Canada. It's crazy. It's crazy everywhere right now. You see the free flow reflex. Yep. That was a couple months ago. Well, it was like 6 months ago or something. I was actually looking at that yesterday. It was pretty cool. Ross Ritchie, best paintball talk channel on YouTube, hands down. I appreciate that, sir. Dwight, Nate and I are actually going to go to Capitol Edge on Sunday. Yeah. We will be there on Sunday. There's probably not going to be a lot of people there, mainly because the tournament, the NXL is this weekend. So I'm kind of hoping there's not a lot of people there. Is Capitol Edge my home field? I mean, I guess it's the closest. Yep, Capitol Edge is just the closest. So, I mean, it's the closest. Yeah, it's the closest and whatever. The Ultimate Rental is glad Newsom won. I don't know. You know what I think that in America we need to start doing? We need to just, I don't even care. Like, You can vote. We can vote for Republicans. We can vote for Democrats. We can vote for independents. We could vote for the Green Party. We could vote for anyone. What we need to do is vote for people that aren't liars and con men. Like let's literally just have leaders that aren't pieces of shit liars. That's all. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. If we could do that, that'd be great. Let's just do that. I'm so tired of everyone, all our politicians are just pieces of shit. You know, Democrats and Republicans, they all suck. And I have to follow the rules that they make. That's the thing, right? We have to follow it's crazy once you think about that, right? Like, Brad Johnson, I have to follow the rules that those stupid fucking people in Washington make. I have to follow the rules that they make. That's crazy. Like, what? That's crazy. It's just crazy. Those people are so dumb. You should, like, when you know a lot about a topic, right? We should listen to them talk about stuff, and it's like, they're so dumb. People are so dumb. Anyway, one of the things that I'm definitely not a part of the problem, so we're not going to talk about that nonsense. Yep. I don't know what else we got to talk about. You know what I wanted to do is our new headbands and stuff coming out. No, I don't really, I do have like a bunch of cool new stuff, John. I appreciate the, whatever. One thing that definitely is helpful if anyone wants to do, if you're like, looking to pick up like some cool like, headbands, or, you want a barrel cover, you can get free shipping if you live in the United States. It's covered up by my body, but free shipping if you spend over $30. So you literally just go here and you buy a headband and it ships for free. $30. You don't have to spend $700 like you do on a Hermesis headband. You could come to the Paintball Ruin My Life store and buy 10 headbands for the price of one Hermesis headband. Which seems crazy. It's a very good deal, right? It goes, all these paintball companies, right? Whether you're buying stuff from me, whether you're buying stuff from Hermesis, it all goes back to supporting paintball. So it's all very good. It's going directly to help me continue doing these things. You know what one I really like? I'm definitely like, I think that the Wave, oh gosh, what am I doing? That one's probably my favorite. I don't know, maybe this one. This was the one I actually wear, so I actually like wear that when I go to the paintball field. I probably got some behind me somewhere around here. There's barrel covers all over the place. Barrel covers are good. We got matching, there's freaking matching barrel covers in there. There's a dog snoring on the ground. Barrel covers, there's matching barrel covers in there. It's good times. Lots of cool Paintball Ruin My Life wares. You can get a hat. I guess we could add to the cart. Sure, why not? See, when you go to this website, I hope it works. If it doesn't, you shouldn't buy stuff from it. Just like MacDev. You know what I'm saying? Nate, there's Nate right there. Nate's gonna hopefully help me someday. Yes. Live streams, it's been a while. I know, push watch party. Yeah. I know, I keep thinking about it, so. Push watch party. Lots of cool merch you can buy in the Paintball Ruin My Life store. You can get a long sleeve t-shirt to play in. You can get a hooded sweatshirt. I like these ones. I like that one. Yep. Push watch party. Nate, I appreciate those super chats. They're awesome. push watch party. I know. We're gonna do that. We're gonna look at this too. This is I wanted to do this for a while. I've had this sitting on my desk, and I'm like, man, we gotta like go over this like. Same camera. It's not switching like I want it to. This is an old paintball magazine. I was like, man, this would be fun to look at. Look at that. It feels like we're like doing a rare unboxing. Be like, okay guys, are you ready? It's like we're gonna open some Pokemon cards. Are we gonna open some brand new? We're gonna open some like first edition Magic the Gathering. Whoop, sorry. I played Magic the Gathering when I was a youngster, a long time ago. Oh, comics! There we go. That's a far better. I need some. Damn, do I have any gloves? I don't have any gloves, I don't think. Do I have any like rubber gloves? I don't think I have any rubber gloves either. Oh well. Okay, so let's do this. So this is Paintball 2 Extreme. This is a magazine that I'm gonna do something else. There we go. This is a magazine that was very, very popular in the early 2000s. As you can see right there, January 2005, Volume 12, Issue 1. So it looks like this is only $5. It's crazy now when you go look for magazines, they're so expensive. It's like $15. Man, that's a pretty... That glare's not too bad there. So 2005, what do we got? Like we're like 11, no, more than 11 years ago. Gee whiz, 16 years ago. Okay, so this is when I was like way into paintball. You want to know when I like got into paintball? This is like when I got into paintball. This is when I was like deep. Deep. I don't know if there's anything cool in here. We're gonna kind of skip fast through this. I'm gonna be talking about some stuff. These things were god awful. Trilogies sucked. Ooh, I remember X-Ball paintballs. So one thing I thought would be kind of cool, I might try to like round up a bunch of old paintball magazines. So if anybody like has any old paintball magazines and wants to like contribute to the cause or something like that, I don't know, send me a message somewhere and we'll try to get more magazines because I think this is kind of a fun idea. These tanks, I had one of these chromoly tanks. That was my first paintball tank. It was one of those. Interesting fact, these chromoly tanks never need to be hydro tested. They're very rare, but yeah. I don't know what's going on there. Doesn't like old magazines though. So cool. I had one of those. Just actually like looking through stuff is kind of fun, right? I can't like lean over really far. I get in the way. Cool. Look at this. So we have Rocky Knuth from the Naughty Dogs, Billy Wing using the DM4, Chris Lasoya of... I could probably do this without telling you the people, without the names. I definitely could. Chris Lasoy of Infamous. That's Alex Frangie. I thought that was Opie. I thought that was Opie from Dynasty for a second. I don't know who that is. Who's that? Matt Richards from Strange. Rocky Cagnoni with that Angel A4. See, you guys talk about freak kits. That's an old ass freak ad right there. Damn, look at these old pictures. The Assassins. It was really cool because Oakland Assassins are, I mean, obviously Sacramento and Oakland are fairly close. So we were always playing with all the Oakland guys. Everyone was always Oakland Assassin fans. Oliver Lang. Thomas Taylor. Reds. The Angel A, no, that's the Speed. I'm sorry. An 05 Speed. I had one of those. I actually was using one of those and had an illegal board in it. I had a secret board. Yeah, so back in the day, there were, when I worked for Angel, and there were, I mean, in this time, this 2005 era, electronic guns were sort of still new. So there was a lot of like manufacturers making special secret boards for their pro teams and stuff. And I had one that went full auto, and I got caught with it, and got a 10-minute major penalty. It was a big deal. It was a pretty big deal. It was a big debacle. I don't know, that's a bunch of weird stuff. Titman 98, there's the speed again. Baltimore Trauma. I have both of those. I definitely owned that color and that color Empire Intimidator too. It's funny. Some tournament stuff. Rocky Knuth. I don't know, who is that? Todd Adamson? No. It might be Billy Wing. Or is it Billy Saransky? That's Billy Saransky, duh. Billy Saransky. 2004 World Cup. Well, I was actually at that tournament. For sure. Now I'm like, I wonder if I'm in this magazine. Definitely. Yep, because this was the tournament. I'm pretty sure this is the tournament that they filmed. They filmed ESPN. They filmed ESPN, and then they filmed some movie there with Matthew McConaughey too. What movie is that? I mean, some of you guys might know. There was some NXL. There was some. This is X-Ball NXL. It's confusing. There was some tournament that they actually filmed a movie at. I don't know. I can't remember. But Dick Clark was there. That's the same picture of Oliver, I think. I think it's the same picture. I don't know. Todd Hugo, he's a legend. Crazy. East Coast. Trying to remember stuff. Crazy. Yep, I was definitely at this tournament. Do they have like the standings and stuff? Because we would have done like, I mean, this would have been Division 2. Didn't even have like who won the divisions or anything. Normally they'd put like who won the tournaments and stuff in the back. Or they put it in the back of the article. I guess not. Those Gucci headbands, I was the first person to start selling those. A long time ago. That's when it was way harder to get stuff made. Why World Cup? Joy Division? Joy Division was cool. Justice. I remember Justice. They were a really good 10-man team. See, look at all this nonsense. Like all these bolts and stuff. All these upgrades, things you can't really, they're not really doing that stuff anymore, you know? Here's some stuff. See, the paintball guns, I mean, these high-end guns, they've always been expensive, right? Like, Alias, $1,300. That Empire, which is the same thing. You know, all these guns are the same thing. They're just special versions of it. It's $1,500. Spider Victor 2 is $55. So I think that the last cheap Spider was the Spider... Yeah, it was the Victor, and they were like $69, but I don't know what's happening with Spiders right now. Who knows what's happening? Oh God, the nerve. I hated this thing. This was supposed to replace the Impulse. They were weird. I mean, it's kind of cool looking, though. They felt really neat. They're kind of neat guns, but they didn't really ever catch on. Why is it full of hot air? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. See, look at these articles. Now you gotta like watch a YouTube. Those things were terrible too. The freestyle, ugh. Those things are terrible. The Naughty Dogs shot those for a little bit. And I even think that Excessive shot those for a little bit. Look, they're trying to like advertise how tall it is. That's funny. Yeah, it's funny. Not too many people like advertised how tall guns were back in the day. Look at that big ass drop forward. It's like comes pre-installed with a huge ass drop forward. So cool. All those Oakland Assassin pictures and stuff are so cool. I don't even know. I don't even remember some of this stuff. There's Mike Hinman. Mike Hinman, current coach of San Diego Aftermath. Mike played with Dynasty, I think maybe only for a year, and then tried to coach them. I want to say like 2012 or 2011, somewhere in there. You got maybe like 2014. Crossfire. Oh, look at the warp feed on the Angel with Q loader. Oh no, it's a Q loader. What am I talking about? A warp feed. Man, I haven't seen a Q loader in a long time. That's funny. The high-tech Empire knee pads. We're nearing the end. That's not Clint Eastwood. I kind of thought that was Clint Eastwood for a second. Look at that. Send in to get yourself a new magazine. So here we go. Here's a shocker. The shocker, a Vision shocker. So the shocker SFT, $7.99. So these are old. So by this time the NXT was out, I think. But you can get that 2K2 Intimidator, only $800. That's not bad. Damn, look at those halos. So those Empire Reloader Bs, $150. Those things sucked so bad. I mean, you want to talk about like the biggest advancement in paintball, it's right here. And loaders are so much better. They were so bad back in the day. Everything was so terrible. They're just way better. I mean, the feed necks would break, the shells would crack in half, all kinds of stuff would go wrong. It was awful. The rotor, as Dale said, was revolutionary. It's very true. The rotor changed the game. I always say, like, I think the rotor, I mean, it's either, honestly, right now, it's either the rotor or the eMech, I think, are the best two paintball products ever made. Maybe like the Tippmann 98 or something like that, you know? Like the Tippmann 98, the rotor, and the eMech. Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach. I have no idea. Oh, Empress. We beat that team. That was one of the all-girl teams. We beat them one year like 20-0. No joke. No joke. With that eMag. Oh gosh, we're getting toward the end. Look at all the paintball stores. I wonder if the paintball store... So you had to pay to be in this, so not all the paintball stores were in this. Just like the paintball store that I worked at the time was not even in here. But the person that owned the store when I worked there at this time was kind of a crazy person, so it's not like too surprising. It's not. Okay. I don't know. I like that. Old magazines. It's kind of fun. My Eggy lid would always pop open. Yeah, because they had those stupid little, like, little tabs it was supposed to clip onto it, and they just kind of sucked, right? All that stuff was bad. All the stuff was just so poorly made, and, like, it just kind of sucked. You know? Everything just didn't work right. It was just all kind of shitty. Okay, guys. I don't know. Failure to launch, Andrew. Look at that. Yep, it's true. In that movie, there's the big stand-up X in the 50. I was like there when they were filming the movie, and everyone was like, "What in the fuck is going on?" They like tipped the X over, and they were like throwing smoke grenades and shit on the airball field. It was very weird. They filmed it like literally like Saturday afternoon at the tournament. It was so weird. They like just stopped playing games for like 4 hours and just filmed a movie. It was odd. It was very weird. Failure to launch. None of us really gave a shit. It was like whatever. I don't even think we went over and watched it. I like remember it happening, but I don't think that we actually went over there and watched. Okay, I want to go to the bathroom. I kind of got to poop. And I'm gonna make some dinner. Everybody poops, right? If one of you doesn't poop, then I don't know. I mean, you could go. I mean, I guess you could get rid of it the other direction, because it'll go this way. After, you know, a really long time, it'll reverse direction. You know, I don't know. So hopefully there are some videos soon. I mean, hopefully we have like, I want to do a couple things. We definitely have like, I got one of these things in the mail. Not really in the mail. I don't know why I said the mail. We got one of these things. This is the HK Army TFX 3. Right there. I had the original TFX. I was a fan of the original TFX. I had really no issues with my TFX. It was great. So we'll see about this one. Kind of like, I like the stylish lines on the side. It's pretty cool. Kind of like how it comes with the speed feed. I really like how all these new hoppers are stiff sometimes. I really like how it's teal on the inside. That's easily the best part. I mean, all these other hoppers that aren't teal on the inside, I mean, seriously? If it's not teal, what's the point? Spire 4, you know, the TFX versus the Spire 4. You know, I don't know. You know, at one point I'd have been like, oh, the TFX, or no, the Spire 4 for sure. I don't know where mine's at. Jingo, yeah, at one point I'd have been like, okay, for sure, the Spire 4 is a better hopper. But like, I don't know, maybe it's not. Maybe... There we go. Maybe TFX is better. You know, we don't know. They're so similar now. You know, I mean, some of these hoppers, you know, you're like, oh, okay, you can take it apart easily. You know, oh, it's so simple. It comes apart in just mere moments. I mean, I guess that's way easier though, right? The Spire 3 was definitely Spire IV, I should say. I'm sorry. Spire IV is definitely easier, but I don't know. I don't think that there's a big difference between these two, and I think we're going to be hard pressed to find a difference. I did kind of notice that when I put paint in here, this front ramp thing doesn't really work that well, you know? It kind of requires more force than like this thing. Mainly because they put the battery in there, so that is kind of a weird spot for the battery, right? Did you not notice? It's like the same exact thing. Look at that. We're going to turn that on. You might hear some weird clicking. These batteries are like literally the same thing. I mean, like they look different, you know, but like it looks like they're made by the same company. Like, look how the meter, the button right there to test the battery is like the same one almost. It feels a little different. I don't know. They just look very similar. I never really actually like paid attention or thought about that, but the batteries do look very, very similar. They could be the same manufacturer. That's what I thought. But the buttons feel a little different. So like the button's a little bit crisper on the TFX. I don't know. It wouldn't put it past me as the same manufacturer though. At one point, a lot of these manufacturers share and still actually share the same plant. I know that some of the GI, well, I mean, I was going to say GI and Tippmann products, but now GI and Tippmann are the same company. But at one point when they were separate, they shared a lot of the same. They shared a lot of. Whoa, God. Whoa. At one point when they were separate companies, they still shared a lot of the same manufacturing facilities. So I don't know. I don't know which one of those is better. I don't necessarily know if it's going to require an entire investigative video, you know, Spire IV versus TFX, but there's definitely going to be a TFX 3 video that will have a cameo from the Spire IV. Yep. Go in there. One thing I meant to do in this that I did not even talk about at all is the raffle. So if anybody is interested in, this is honestly one of the main reasons I did this. If anybody wants to take part in, man, I'm having problems. A raffle for a TM40. I'm trying to put the raffle on the screen, but I really wasn't ready for any of this. If you want, you can head over, or in a link in the description, or you guys could just follow that right there. There's a raffle on the PaintallRuinedMyLife website. There are only 80 tickets total. Tickets are $20, only 4 tickets per person, so a lot of people can try and be involved. And it's for that thing, the TM40 that I used for the review. So if you want, you can head to a link in the description of this video, or head over to lux-tm40/r at paintallRuinedMyLife.com. You can get tickets. There's a lot. I mean, there's still tickets left. Not like hundreds of tickets. There's only 80 total. So there's probably like, I don't know, 20-ish, 15 left. I would it's greatly appreciated, all the people that partake in those. As, I mean, honestly, the only way that I'm able to do reviews is because I can I can do these raffles. If I didn't do this raffle, like, I don't know how it would be possible. So, yeah. You can, yeah, Canada's cool. Anyone from Canada is fine with me. You just gotta like pay shipping from Canada. That's all. You just got to make up the shipping cost. So shipping's probably like $40, I would say. Yep. Raffles. Let's go back to that. So if anybody wants to partake in said raffle, there is a link in the description of this. So should we expect a DSR Plus? Absolutely. Every single paintball gun you've ever seen reviewed on this channel has been raffled off. The best way to probably find that stuff, honestly, is follow me on Twitter. I know a lot of people probably aren't going to like that answer, but if you go to PBRML at PBRML on Twitter, you can find me there. I post things on Twitter. I actually use Twitter. I don't really use a lot of the other social media things. Like I keep posting about it on here somewhere. There's a thing to the raffle. You know what I think is kind of crazy? This is sort of paintball related. So this guy, Newman Hussein, he plays for New York Extreme. His brother is Harris Hussein. I just think this is crazy. So he was responsible for, I don't know. He was charged with 20 counts of second-degree manslaughter and is currently criminal negligent homicide. So he was charged with 20 counts of second-degree manslaughter and criminal negligence. And he was responsible for 20 people dying, and he got 5 years probation and 1,000 hours of community service. That's crazy. Like, there's people in prison for drugs, and this guy, like, responsible for 20 people dying. I mean, I don't know if he should go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. He didn't, like, murder people, so it's not like, I don't know, you know? But it's just very weird. It's just kind of crazy. It's like, what do you, like, what? It's just weird. You know? It's like, wait, I can go to jail for having crack cocaine, but if I kill 20 people, I'm good? It's just very odd. It's very, very weird. I don't know. Yeah. So who knows? I mean, New York Extreme might get a player back. It's just very weird. Yep. It's just odd. It's like, man, I don't know. It's hard to see that people, you know, you go to jail forever. You know, it's not like, I mean, but it's very weird. You know, imagine that, like, because imagine you're a mom and you lost, like, your daughter and her husband and a kid. Like, that's the shit that happened. Anyway, it's craziness. Crazy. It's just very weird. Okay, guys. You want to go take part in that raffle? Go hit up that fucking raffle. If not, probably Tuesday. That's the goal, at least. Tuesday, you'll see a video on this channel. I don't know what it's going to be. Probably TFX 3 video. Thoughts on the USB cover on the XDR? What USB cover? Which one? This one? Like this cover? Oh. It's like useless. I don't even know. It's pointless. There's another stupid MacDev thing, guys. This is the cover. You gotta, like, I know I've pulled this out like 4 times. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get it back in there. I should have done it. I shouldn't have pulled it off. Oh, there we go. I did see somebody made like a 3D printed like little like plug. They like put it in there instead of like it being a cover. It kind of like fits in and it was like recessed, so it didn't look like it'd come out. So if you have an XDR, I would probably go to the MacDev fan page on Facebook. I think that's where I saw that. I think I saw someone print it. My trigger has stopped 3 times while in game. Yeah, these things suck. Sorry. I struggle with that, right? Like, I like paintball. I don't dislike paintball. And a lot of these companies aren't huge, right? They're not big companies, right? MacDev doesn't have 20 employees. They don't have, millions of dollars to go and like test prototypes of guns and do a lot of stuff. So it's difficult for some of these companies like MacDev to compete with these high-end companies. I don't know where I was going with that. But it sucks. Yeah, what I was going with is that it's difficult for me, right? Like, I like paintball. I don't want to review this. I don't even want to talk about it. It's like, I don't have anything good to say, really. I mean, the ergonomics are good. Yeah, it definitely, like, feels good to me, right? But, like, I don't know why I would buy this over, like, anything else. That's what I don't understand, so. It's difficult for me. I keep going on and on and on and on. Something about a limo accident. Yeah. I don't really know all the exact details. I mean, there's been so many articles. There's a bunch of articles on it. It's pretty easy to find out. I mean, it was big national news and stuff. So really what happened was, well, a quick synopsis was their family owns a limousine company, and the limousine crashed, and they said that it was a fail. The limousine crashed because it wasn't being maintained correctly, and that Newman was at fault. That's why he was charged with 20 counts of second-degree manslaughter and criminal negligent homicide. But I don't know how he got off. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened, but yep. There was a limo crash, and they were saying that they didn't maintain it correctly. That's why it crashed. It's the deadliest U.S. transportation disaster in a decade. That's crazy. It's just kind of a crazy thing. It's just weird that you didn't go to jail. That's what I think is weird. I mean, we have like millions of people in prison. There are millions of people in prison in the United States. And most of them probably for less like crazy things, I don't know. Anyway. Okay. I'm going to go, guys. I appreciate it. All super chats. You guys are freaking awesome. Ultimate Rental, I totally missed you again. I appreciate that. Would you say you bought a TM40 raffle ticket? Wish me luck. I appreciate it. The odds are pretty good. I mean, you got to think that like for $20 you could get a $1,500 paintball gun, and your odds are good. It's not like some of these raffles people are selling like tons of tickets to. I'm selling like the correct amount of tickets. Yeah. So your odds are pretty good. Nick, I appreciate that super chat, dog. What you said above, I find it funny how Brad handles something he doesn't like in paintball. I don't know what that means. I don't really do anything. I feel like I should start saying more stuff. I should probably be even more vocal because I feel like nobody ever says anything. Like, I can't watch any of the podcasts or like listen to anybody talk about paintball because nobody ever says anything. It's like, I was trying to watch like the Ghost Sports Maddie Marshall Dimitri Meter Ninos interview, right? And like the first 45, it's like Meter starting a whole new paintball tournament and this whole new Astra Paintball League thing. And like the first hour of this podcast interview is just like, how'd you start playing paintball? Oh, I started playing paintball when I was 15 at a birthday party, and it's like, no one cares about any of that stuff, right? Like, get to the point. Like, everybody wants to know about Astra. That's the whole reason we're listening to this. But they didn't even, like, talk about it. It's like, what is this? I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Enjoy your coming weekend.